will go away. Paano na Pilipinas? 7,103 islands.
Mawawala na.
Alright?
Erase na.
Mawawala na. Erased. Okay? Alright? So you better not love this world because one day this world will be gone.
Yes.
Alright? Where do you invest your time? More.
With the Lord.
Loving this world, which we know that at the end it will all be
We are on
gone.
the transition.
So we should live. We should
Yes.
live more for the future.
Yes.
Store up treasures in heaven.
Heaven.
Isn't it?
Yes.
And then we know that there will be hailstorm. How big the hail?
100 pounds.
100 pounds each. Okay. Patay ka talaga, 100 pounds.
2,000.
Alright. Parang dalawang sako ng bigas. Because it's 50 pounds ang isa, di ba? Alright, that will fall from heaven. And that is the judgment of God. Alright? Why? Because of the sinfulness and the rebellion and the stubbornness of people too. Okay? So kung papansinin niyo, ang judgment, ang seal judgment, ang trumpet judgment, ang bowls judgment. Ano napansin ninyo?
Pabigat.
Pabigat ng pinagagat.
Yes.
Alright? Pabigat na pabigat. Yung mga judgment dito parang warning
lang.
until the end. Okay? Una, so we see that it gets worse and worse. What we are seeing now happening are just birth times. Hindi pa yan yung just. Okay? Pero, mahirap na, di ba? But you know what? It should wake us up. We better go and share the gospel.
Yes.
Because otherwise, there is no other way except from believing in our Lord Jesus Christ. Okay? May it challenge us. May this study challenge us. So, let's summarize again. Chapter 12, those who were not able to catch up kanina. Chapter 12 talks about signs in heaven. A woman and a dragon, and a red dragon. Chapter 13, the two beasts, no? the first beast and the second beast, they made an image and the mark. Okay? So pag tinanong, meron ba talaga sa Bible yung 666? Yes, it's in chapter 13. Alam ko na yan. Alright? Okay, verse 18. Okay, very good. Now, chapter 14, 144,000 in heaven this time. Alright? Not on earth anymore. And then, the start of God's judgment has come. The hour. Okay? That word hour is one thing that you need to mark. Alright? Chapter 15. There are signs in heaven. The third sign. This is the third sign. 7 angels with 7 plagues. Okay? But before the pouring of these 7 plagues, okay, God has forewarned the angels. And then in chapter 16, the pouring of the 7 bowls of God's wrath. Okay. All of this is in the segment, things which will take place after these things. Okay. Now, let's go to chapter 17. Okay. 17 gives us the judgment. Remember, there's an angel who said, fallen, fallen is Babylon. Correct? Alright? Now, chapter 17 and 18, 2 chapters deals with Babylon. Sino ba tong si Babylon? Bakit ba siya fall? Bakit ba siya mag-fall? Bakit ba siya i-judge? Alright? So, if God has dedicated 2 chapters in His 22 chapter book of Revelation to Babylon, maybe it is something that we need to pay attention. Who is this Babylon? Why is she going to fall? Why is she going to be judged? Okay? So, let us study. Chapter 17 talks about the judgment of the great harlot. Alright? She is described as a harlot. And she's, what is her name? Diba? May binigay sa inyong name?
Jezebel.
It's a mystery. Look. Mystery Babylon. Alright?
The great,
Hindi lang Babylon,
the
but
mother, and of the
Mystery
abomination.
Babylon. Babylon the Great. The mother of harlots
and of the
of the
abominations of the earth.
It seems that this Babylon, whatever it is, siya yung originator, she's the mother, correct? of what?
The mother of
Harlots.
The
And the
mother.
Bible, every time it talks about harlots, it talks about what? Okay, if God is the husband, the mistress, diba? Harlot is the one that is bringing people away from God, correct? So it talks about what? Idolatry, immorality, and things that is against God. Alright? Now, and she's the mother of harlots and of abomination of the earth. Okay? Now, let's compare the description. Then this woman, this Babylon, this woman, is seated on a beast. Correct?
Just
And let's look at the description of the beast that the harlot sits on. Okay? This has what? Yung beast ni babae, ni the woman. Scarlet beast, full of what? Blasphemous names. Does it sound familiar?
Yes.
And then it has how many heads? 7 heads and 10 horns. Sounds familiar?
Yes.
Yes. And then this beast was and is not, and is about to come up out of the abyss, correct? You see that in this chapter? I'm reading actually from
Verse 8.
verse 8. The description
The beast that you saw.
of the beast, okay? Does it sound familiar? Is it related to the previous beast that we talked about?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So you see the connection, all right? Okay, so be very careful with the details, because once you get the details correct, then you can now make the connections, okay? All right, so you know that this has to be related to the other beast. Now, what else is mentioned in this chapter? What happens to the woman
The woman.
at the end? Starting verse 6. Remember, she is seated on this beast, and this beast, there is an interpretation of the 7 heads. Correct?
The 7 heads are the 7 mountains.
There's an interpretation of 7 heads, there is an interpretation of the beast, and there is an interpretation of the 10 horns. Correct? I will not go into that, because you have to study it very well for us to understand. But what we know, starting in verse 16, it talks about the destruction of this woman. How will this woman be destroyed?
Will make her desolate and naked.
Who will kill this woman?
And horns.
The beast and the 10 horns.
Yes.
Correct?
This will
So, di ba una sa kanya, pero huli, sila mismo ang magde-destroy sa kanya. Okay? So, you see that. You see that. Who is this woman? We will discover that later. I will not tell you yet, because you need to do a lot more observation. Okay? Sino yung woman? Israel? Is it Babylon? Is it whatever woman? Okay? Is that, alright, Revelation 18. Revelation 18 talks about, again, Babylon. But this time, the emphasis is what? The fall of Babylon in 1 hour. Mapapansinin niyo pa ulit-ulit yung 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour. It is telling that the destruction of Babylon will be a what? A swift thing. Alright? Whoever this woman, this immoral woman, this one that is the mother of the abomination, all right, of the earth, her destruction will be in 1 hour. But who will be mourning? Sino yung malulungkot sa kanyang destruction? All right, the merchants of the earth will be mourning. All right, and then the kings of the earth will also be mourning. All right? When you talk about kings of the earth and the merchants of the earth, sino tumato? The ones in authority, the leadership, the rich people.
The businessmen.
All right? They will be the ones who will mourn, because they are the ones who is what? Benefiting from this Babylon. Diba? The merchants will be sad, they will be mourned, because why?